Have you ever struggled with managing someone who's difficult, or maybe you just don't like them? Well, then this video is for you. Hello everyone, thank you for watching. This is Jason Kistler with Sapphire Leadership Advisors. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like button so we can get this content out to more people. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel where we provide constant updates on leadership trends and just random things that are helpful to managers and leaders. So in this video, I want to cover a topic that came up in a discussion I had recently where someone was asking me, what do you do to manage people that are just so difficult or that you just don't like? How do you successfully manage those people along with the people that you do like on your team? And I thought, that's a great question because it's easy to manage the people that are easy to manage. But when you get to someone who's difficult to manage or someone that you just don't like personally, how do you deal with managing those people? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here. So the first point that I really want you to consider is that it is not necessary for you to like someone in order to appreciate their contribution to the team and to manage them successfully. This is kind of like sometimes watching some of these entertainers or actors or musicians who you really enjoy the movies that they're in or you really enjoy the music that they write, but in real life, maybe they're a scumbag. You never know. And so And sometimes that will change your appreciation for their abilities, but oftentimes you're looking at the separation of the output versus the person. So you may like the song, but the artist, is not a nice person. You can still appreciate the talent that went into creating the music. This is the same thing with people that work for you that you may not personally like, or that they may be very difficult to manage. But you can still appreciate their level of skill, their contribution to the team, and their ability to get things done. Assuming that those are all there. If they're not, then you have a different issue. So one of the first pieces of advice that I would give here is really, and this is good for honestly anyone that reports to you, but it's especially important for people that you may not like or that are already difficult to manage, is you want to focus on their strengths and build those strengths up rather than focusing on weaknesses and building up weaknesses. And that may sound counterintuitive, but there is a reason for that. And the reason is this. When you build up somebody's strengths, then you're building up something that they already do well, and you're getting them to do it even better. Because it's something that they're already good at, to take someone from, say, 80% to 90% is much easier when it's a strength than taking someone from 20% to 30%. And when you take a look at the benefit of moving someone from like a 70% effectiveness or 70% of a certain skill to 90%, then that level of productivity is so much more than if you're focusing on a weakness where you're pulling someone from, say, 20% to 40%. And a lot of times that 20% going from, say, a 20 to 40%, on the low end of the scale, those 20 points are a lot harder to achieve than someone who's already good at something and you're making them better. Now, the reason that I say this is even more important with someone who is a difficult person to manage or someone you may not like is because there's two reasons. For one, a lot of times focusing on the weaknesses is part of what you may not like about this person or what makes them difficult to manage. So rather than focusing on those things, it's easier to focus on the things that they have as strengths so that you're not focusing on the things that you may not like about them or that make them a difficult person to manage. And I think the second reason to focus on strengths is also that the more that you see the strengths of this person and the more that you can see their progress, if you're pushing them forward with their strength areas, the more likely it's going to be that at some point you may flip your opinion of them and you may start to see, as with anyone, we all have flaws, but you can appreciate the strengths even more. So it may help you in the end to get a greater appreciation of the employee. Another piece of advice would be don't force a professional relationship with this particular person if it's disingenuous. You may have a very friendly relationship with a lot of your coworkers and the people on your team, and maybe this one particular person you're struggling with, and so you're constantly trying to insert yourself to make a relationship happen, and it may just not be the case. There are just some people that don't like or don't focus on professional relationships, and so they may just want to be left alone. And you should respect that. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't at least try, but at some point you really need to just respect the fact that they want to maintain relationships at a distance, and that just may be the way that they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as they're still able to interact in a successful and efficient way with the team, then don't force some sort of disingenuous type of relationship on them. It just doesn't make sense. You also want to make sure that you're consistently providing them feedback. It really is important for all the people on your team. However, you may be more reluctant to provide feedback to individuals that you don't like or that are difficult to manage, either because maybe they don't take it as well or because you just don't like talking to them as much. But it's so important to continually provide them feedback, because alienating them is not going to help the fact that they're difficult to manage. It'll probably just make that situation even worse. So, consistently provide genuine feedback. Again, we're going the genuine route here. We don't want to fake it just because we know we have to deal with this person. Genuine feedback. You're the manager, so you should be able to provide them some kind of feedback on their work. And don't shy away from negative feedback. If you've got to deliver negative feedback because of something's going on, then you've got to do it. It's part of being a manager. You just got to toughen up and get it done. Now, the last thing I want to say about managing someone who's difficult to manage or someone that you may just not like is don't take it personal. You're a manager, you've got a job to do. They're an employee, they've got a job to do. You're both adults, and ultimately it's about getting the job done. But don't take it personal. Just because they may not like you, that's okay. Just like you may not like them, but you still have to work with them and you still need to get the job done. So don't take it personal. Not everybody has to like you to respect you as a leader, and you don't have to like everyone else to appreciate their level of contribution to the team. So those are some of my thoughts on managing people who are difficult to manage or people you may just not like. This is Jason Kissler with Sapphire Leadership Advisors. Again, encouraging you to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We got lots of information about leadership and management. Have a productive week.